Hi guys, and happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 31st. It's the last day of March. Tomorrow we start April. Um, Today we're going to talk about the grand staff. Now the grand staff is two staves, both treble and the bass clef, held together by this thing right here called a brace. The brace is what holds two staves together. Up top we have our upper range notes with the treble clef. The treble clef is the top staff of the grand staff. And then on the bottom staff, we have the bass clef. And that's for our lower notes. The defining thing with the grand staff is that it's got both clefs, and that middle C is our reference point here. Middle C is literally the dead center of a keyboard or piano instrument. So if you look over here at the piano, middle C is this C right here. Okay, just a second. It's the middle of the piano. Now the treble clef will cover all the notes above middle C. So, and so on. And then the bass clef will cover everything below middle C. And all the way down to the bottom of the piano. So instruments that read the grand staff are obviously the piano, the marimba, so the very large keyboard instruments in the high school band room, and then if you are at a church that still uses organ also reads the grand staff, but it also has a third staff on the bottom for your feet, because on an organ the feet have their own keyboard as well. So the most recognizable instrument that reads the grand staff for you all is definitely the piano and the marimba. So middle C is right here in the dead center. It is one ledger line below the treble clef or one ledger line above the bass clef. Now we've not really talked about ledger lines yet. These are just lines that extend the staff, and we'll talk more about those as we get into this week. But for right now, what you need to know is this is C. Now if we're going down on the staff, we're also going in backwards alphabetic order. If you remember, our musical alphabet is A to G, and then we reset back to A to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. So if we remember our treble clef lines, E, G, B, D, F, every good boy deserves fudge, every good bulldog dominates football. So below E would be just below here. Now my trumpets and clarinets, this is a note you are familiar with. It's D. Just below that space, just below the staff would be D. And then if we go down one more, we add a ledger line. And before D in the alphabet is C. So this again is middle C. Now, if we're coming up from the bass clef, and we talked about the bass clef yesterday, our lines on the bass clef, we start with G, so good boys deserve fudge. Always good bulldogs dominate football. Always good burritos don't fall apart. However you choose to remember that. A is the top line. Now, if we're going up on the staff, we're just going up alphabetically, line space, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then restart back at A. So if this is A right here, this space right on top of it is B. And that would put us with the next line up being that ledger line for middle C. So that's our kind of connecting point, is the middle of the grand staff. With all of this, the biggest thing to remember is that you have to pay attention to which clef you're reading in. So if I have a homework assignment for you all, which I do, the Google form, and your question shows you the grand staff, and it asks you to identify the note, you're going to have to check which clef the note is on. Is it on the top one with the treble clef or the bottom one with the bass clef? And then you'll identify the note from there. And again, you can count up however you need to get to that note. So if right here, the note in question is the third line of the top clef, the treble clef, I know treble clef, bottom line is E, every good bulldog. And my answer to that question would be B. Now, say I get a question where it is that space just below the bottom line. trumpets and clarinets, you all have no problem with this. This is a note you see a lot, D. But if I am somebody who reads either in bass clef most of the time or doesn't go this low, generally my saxophones and flutes don't go down to this area of the staff, I probably have to count down E is that bottom line, and the space right below it would be D. Now, if you get a question where it is that ledger line either above or below the staff, so right here, or it may be a little closer to the treble clef, depending, that's going to be C. That is C. That is middle C. The biggest thing is that you pay attention to your clef. If you answer all the questions reading in the same clef, you've done something wrong, because I can tell you right now, the staff always is going to be treble clef up top, bass clef on the bottom. And if you're answering it like it's 2 treble clefs or 2 bass clefs, you're going to get half your questions wrong. You have to be very careful with what you're doing. So that's it for the grand staff. Make sure you go ahead and get that Google form in, and don't forget to do the rhythm of the day as well. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to send me a picture of your animals. I love seeing your all's pets. So, see ya. Hey guys, so I just wanted to let y'all know, if you send me a picture of one of your adorable animals, like Mabel here, I will post it to the Google Classroom and give you 5 extra credit points for showing off your adorable pets. Animals of any kind, dogs, cats, gerbils, snakes even. I'd love to see your all's pets, and like I said, 5 extra credit points.